Hey everybody, James here with Rokoko, and I'm back with another tutorial. This time I have a tutorial for our Blender users. I'm going to show you how to take studio animations and apply them to your characters inside of Blender. So let's go ahead and get started. So as you see, we just have our walk simple animation here, which is included within our sample project. But we're just going to go ahead and export this out of Studio and import it into Blender. So once you're ready to do that, you just want to go ahead and click the export button here and set up your options, your format, and your FBX settings. And the only thing that we're going to change because of our character is the skeleton. Our skeleton uses the Mixamo rig, so we're going to go ahead and switch this over to Mixamo. But if you have characters that have a My Human IK rig, you can switch it to that as well. So we'll go ahead and use Mixamo and then click export. And then now our animation has been exported out of here. So let's go ahead and jump over to Blender and apply it there. Alright, so here we are in Blender, and the first thing that we want to do is import our character. So let's go up to File, Import, and FBX, and then we'll go ahead and find our Blender tutorial folder, and then we're going to import man_rigged. So hit import, and you'll see our character is in here. If you want to go ahead and apply the textures, I believe what you need to do is just click on this button here. Go switch over to rendered for a little bit, let it populate, and then switch over to material, and there you go. And so now what we can also do is look at the armature, the skeleton. So by clicking this button here, and we can click on X-ray down here, and we can see the skeleton through our character. So it looks pretty good. Alright, so now what we want to do is import our animation and do the same thing. Go up to File, Import, and FBX, and then in our Scene 1 folder we have Walk Simple Mixamo. So go ahead and hit import on that. And then now it's imported. We can go ahead and drag this out, just take a look. And it looks pretty good. And so it does look like our character is slightly smaller than our character skeleton, or our animation skeleton. So in order to resize this, what we can do is we can click on our character, and actually before we do that, let's go ahead and rename this. So we'll rename our character to main character, and then we can switch over to the armature one, and let's just rename this one animation. So let's go ahead and click on our character again, and then we can scale this by clicking on the scale here and then just moving our mouse just slightly, and then we can click again and then apply that change. Alright, so that looks pretty good. Alright, so now what we want to do is open our dope sheet. And in order to do that, we need to open a new window. And so if you want to open a new window in Blender, you just click right up here at the top right, click and drag, and now you have another window. And then we can change this view right down here in the bottom left corner, and we want to change this to dope sheet. And then now we also want to do we want to change this to the action editor. So if we go down here to where it says dope sheet and click on this, we'll click on action editor, and then this allows you to see all of the mocap data. So right now we're selected on our character, so there isn't anything here, but if we select our animation and unfurl this, now you can see all of the animation, and you can actually scrub through here. It does tend to lag the computer a bit just because of so much data that's being processed. So we'll go ahead and close that back up. But essentially what we want to do now is retarget this specific animation to our character. So let's click our main character again. And the way that we do that is down here. There's a button down here that we can click, and we can change, we can apply the animation to this character. And now the only way that this will work is if the skeleton, both the animation skeleton and the character skeleton, are similar and also named similarly. If they're different, this isn't going to work. However, so since we have a Mixamo character rig and a Mixamo animation skeleton, this should work. So we'll just go ahead and click on our animation, and now you'll see here down on the timeline with our character selected, we actually have an animation, and you see that the animation is now playing on our character, which is awesome. So now we can go ahead and close out of our dope sheet, and in order to do that, we just want to go ahead and click and drag this to the right, and you'll see that arrow, and it'll expand out that way. So let's go ahead now and expand out our timeline. And so let's go ahead and type in maybe like 500, and we can expand this by clicking this end and dragging it out. And so yeah, it looks like we're good maybe right about here. And then we can do it the other way as well. And we'll start it on frame 10. Cool. And then now we can go ahead and play the animation. Oops. We can go ahead and actually change the no sync. We'll change it to AV sync so that it plays a bit faster. And we can also hide our skeleton again on our character. Just uncheck X-ray, and if you want to get rid of the skeletons that are protruding out of the character's body, you can click right here and hide that as well. And so that is pretty much the process on applying your studio animations to your character inside of Blender. We look forward to seeing all of you Blender users take full advantage of the Smartsuit Pro. And thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful.